All right, look what showed up. How's it look, Skull? So, the Trex is here. Good morning, guys. So it is Saturday morning. This is going to be part 5 of the Lanai deck build. As you saw from the little clip, the Trex showed up. It was actually supposed to show up, I thought, last week, and then I got my days wrong. The sun is shining like right on my camera. It was supposed to show up last week, I thought, but I had my days wrong for the delivery day. Anyway, it showed up yesterday, which was a Friday, which is good because now I have the weekend to work on it. So you can see the Trex behind me there. I just started opening it up and start moving it out to the deck. So this is part 5 of the Lanai deck build. Really? Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe and let's get to work. All right, so since the last video, I was able to get all of this painted, of course. I got the initial coats of the sealer paint, the sealer staining paint, and then I also got a coat of exterior house paint. So it's painted all the way around the border and also the vertical beams. I painted basically as high as I could reach. So the horizontal beams don't have a coat of the exterior house paint on it yet, but they will. So the focus of today's video is going to be getting this decking on. As you can see, I removed the old porch boards that were in that spot. I need to let this dry out so that the tape, which this is the tape that I'm using, it's butyl tape, self-adhesive butyl tape. So this is what it's joist tape basically, and you put this over the top of all the joist pieces everywhere, and then the Trex sits on top of this. So basically what this does is any water or anything that spills through the deck will hit this tape and then go off to the side or evaporate, so it doesn't sit on the wood and rot the wood out. Even though this will eventually have a roof on it, it's going to be a while before that happens. In the meantime, I plan on putting a tarp over this, but it still will not be like dried in like a real roof. Another thing, I have to finish putting in the bracing or the blocking in between the joists there. So underneath where that decking was, of course, I didn't have any blocking there. Also under this piece of OSB, there's no blocking. So yeah, now that there's some sun out, I'm gonna let this area dry up, and I will start with this area on this side. So since this area is all dry, this will be the best area to start for the tape. And then I'm going to have to do a little bit of measuring and figuring out getting my picture frame on here, because the picture frame, like I said, is going to end up hanging over about a 1/2 inch, which means that it will get cut around the posts to fit in. And then I also need to figure out, I guess for the Trex itself, one thing I know that I'm going to need to add is I'm going to end up having to put a 2x4 in here, and basically it's going to be spaced off probably about 1 inch or so, because the way that the Trex lines up from that wall out to here, it is just short of this beam. So it needs to be supported on the end, which is a good thing because then I don't have to cut any of these pieces. They'll all just, fit in place. So I'll essentially have a factory edge on everything as far as that decking part. But then of course I'll need to figure out, like I said, the picture frame, because it's going to get cut in the same all the way around. It may be cut in a little bit further on the sides because that's right up against the beam, where here there's a space here. So yeah, I'll have to figure out how that's going to work out. Okay, that's super tedious. That's even too boring for a time lapse. So this tape is super sticky and it has a backing on it, you know, kind of like pulling off a cheap sticker backing. It's kind of a pain. So I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera because that is just way too boring to watch. All right, so I have tape pretty much everywhere on this section, minus the edge part here because I still got to do some work there. You can see where the picture frame is here, so like I said, I'm going to need to add a support piece here for the end of the Trex here to sit over. Ideally with the Trex, you want it to have the end not actually on a board so that it has drainage. If there's water that gets on there, it'll just fall right through to the ground. Because if you put the edge right on the board, then the water that comes in between is just going to go, you know, on top of the board, and you don't want that. So I'm going to need to add in some boards here and then finish getting this taped up. For this side over here, I think everything is good here. I'll end up having, there will be a piece of Trex that will get cut to fit in between the post and then over there. And then this is going to have to get cut in. So I'm still trying to figure this out because as you can see, this is, you know, about 3.5 inches short if I butt it all the way up to the wall over there. So ideally what you want to happen here is these two pieces to come together at a 45 or maybe a 30, basically what the distance is from this corner to this corner. That's where you want your cut to be, and you want everything to meet up. So I got to figure that out still too. Shouldn't be too hard. I just got to start making some marks and taking measurements. But that's where I am right now. And then once this is figured out, then these will just start, you know, flying in. All right, I'm starting to make the first cuts here. Basically just using my jigsaw. And then once the edge is cut, using a file to clean up. So you can see that's the issue with cutting with a jigsaw. It's a little wavy, even though I was going straight, and the blade kind of wanders a little bit. So I'll start fitting these, and I may have to clean this up with the file just to get it so that it's even all the way through. All right, I have these two sections of the picture frame done. They look pretty terrible, but I mean, I'm gonna make it work. Cutting around these, I gotta do, I'm leaving a good size spacing around, and then this will get, you know, some kind of a molding on it to cover that. I've seen that they make actually metal ones. They're in two halves and they clip together. They're made to fit around a 6x6. So I'll probably end up getting something like that. Another option is you could take a piece of quarter round, you know, paint it white, and then just nail it to the 6x6. So one way or the other, I'll do one of those methods after this is all done, of course. My corner didn't quite meet up as precise as I was hoping. You see this little, you know, the cut was good, you know, it's lined up perfectly, but then I have a little bit here, so that'll just get filed off using a file rather than the, you know, a saw or something. I may cut just the tip of this off and then file it, so it's not quite so much file work. But these two pieces are done, so I'm going to pull them off. I'm going to put tape down underneath all of this section, and then I'll get these screwed down. Then I can start doing my actual Trex pieces on this part of the deck. Okay, so all the tape is done, all the way up to the point where this picture frame will be here. All the way on this side, everything in between. So these are the screws, if this is going to focus, hopefully. So this is a composite screw, and this is what will get used. I gotta get in the sun. This is what's going to be used on the picture frame. Of course, we could not find the right color, but I don't think that's super critical because this is going to be just below the surface, so it's not really going to stand out that much, I don't think. And this, like I said, is only on the picture frame, so especially once we put railings in, you're really not even going to see these at all. And if it's really that bad, I can always go back and touch it up with paint. So for composite screws, it has this second set of threads here, and that's what actually holds the composite down, and then a rounded head so that it doesn't mushroom. So now I'm going to start installing finally. All right, so the picture frame is done, basically all the way around this corner. So that gives me what I need to start putting in these pieces of Trex here. All the tape is on, so it's ready. I'm going to have to cut one of these so it goes around the post right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that off camera. And then yes, there's a gap over there. I'll deal with that down the road. I'll probably just put a post right there for a railing or something, you know, going down. So I'm going to do this one that's going to have the cuts in it off camera, and then start laying the Trex out. And I will end up having to cut these just a tiny bit off each end. Over here, the Trex is not going to go all the way onto this ledger board. It's going to go just short of that. So when we redo this wall, that'll get finished out, but there will be a, there will be a space there. So it'll end up having, some kind of a trim piece. We're talking about redoing this whole wall in like a board and batten style or something else, just to, I guess, make it more part of the deck and porch area. Okay, I have this piece cut and ready to install. I'm using a large paint stick or paint stirrer. You're supposed to be spacing about 1/4 inch. These sticks are pretty much 1/4 inch. For the Trex hidden fastening system, or I guess they call it Trex hideaway, there's two kind of connection points. So you have these here, and this is basically what's used on your very first board. So this is going to get connected there, and then it's going to slide into the groove that's on the side on this side. And then you have these pieces here. So looking at the profile, you can see it's like a T, and then basically that's what connects one piece to the next piece, and then you drive your fastener down into the joist, and then that's what holds it. So that way you have no exposed screw heads. So I'm going to get this one installed, and then just start knocking them out. All right, just to show, the way that you start these is you use your spacer, which, your 1/4 inch paint stick, and then you basically push the bracket up against it, and then you screw in the screw. And then when you remove it, the Trex will slide into there, and then you'll have your 1/4 inch gap. Okay, all the clips are in, and now I'm getting ready to put in the next set. And then as you see, I'm using some clamps. I'm not cranking down on this, I'm just making sure that it's snug up against the clamps. And then I'll put in the next piece, and then I'll just continue this process as I go. right, pretty awesome. This section is done. Well, up to that point. Hopefully that's the only time lapse I need to do. This is a lot of work. So, pretty nice. What hot tea. It's kind of funny, Skull actually walked across these beams and got over here, but Hati was too scared. But then on the way back, Skull fell. Just his back leg, so he fell down there with his front legs up there. It was kind of funny. Uh-oh. The neighbors must be walking on their driveway because that's high priority alert. All right, so to continue into this next section, I got to get the blocking put in here, which I didn't put in because I had the boards there before. So I got to get that blocking cut and installed, and then I have to continue the tape going this way. I'm going to try and do as much of this tonight as I can. I don't know if the weather's going to hold out. It's like 4:15 right now or something like that. So I might be able to get a little bit further tonight. Tomorrow it's supposed to be raining all day, so I'm not sure when I'll get back to this. But we'll see. I guess if it's raining, then I'll be working on the workshop. Okay, so I have the blocking in there the rest of the way, and I got this whole section taped, and the rain is holding out. So I'm going to keep going. I want to try to get this done tonight up to that section of the picture frame. And then that'll be half of the deck, so that'll be 12 by 12 section basically. So let me start getting these pieces cut, get them installed. Whew. All right, another late night. Me and the Koki frogs. But I'm basically at the halfway point, and everything is looking really nice. So I think I'm gonna have a lot of rain the next few days to a week, so I'm not sure when I'm gonna get back to this, but it won't be long for you guys. All right, well, it's been a couple days since I worked on the deck. Got an unexpected break from the rain, so I'm taking full advantage of that. I got this piece of OSB taken off. I got the remaining blocking put in, and I have this entire section taped up now. So I'm ready to, I gotta get these picture frame pieces cut, which will take me a little time because I gotta, cut around all the posts, get everything lined up, and then just start putting Trex in and hopefully get this wrapped up today. Good boy. So I'm making good progress. This picture frame is on. I have that picture frame cut, but it's not installed yet because I'm waiting until I get over there in case it's close enough that I can adjust that within an inch or so that I don't have to rip a piece. Everything is installed up to this next post, so I have just this section left. So coming along nicely. And there's the rain. I was so close. So I'll see if this is gonna taper off at all. Otherwise I may just finish this up and just work in the rain. Almost there. Okay, it's the next day. It's nice and sunny, and I am down to the last piece here. Just getting ready to cut in the notches to go around the posts and to get this fitted in. I kind of lucked out. If you want to look at the spacing over here, this is off a little bit, but this board was just a temporary one I put here so the dogs could walk across without, you know, breaking their leg. But you can see how close the spacing is on that. It's only maybe 1/4 of an inch off. So, I mean, doing the entire deck, it ended up coming down to that much space. So that's pretty good. So what I'm going to end up doing is I will just make these notches slightly bigger on this side of the post, and then do another little cut here on the angle, take another 1/4 inch off, so that this piece will just slide in 1/4 inch, and then that should give me my gap that I need. So it's pretty much just about done with all the Trex. The sweeping aerial shots. Just kidding. So the deck is done. Not super happy about how the last piece turned out, but it's not bad. So right here, you can see that there's just a slight overhang, but then as it travels out, you can see that this is exposed. And then of course how this corner turned out. So I'll probably end up, you know, rounding this off a little bit just to match. So this has entirely to do with the squareness of the deck itself. That's why this is off right here, which was something that way back in the first or second video I was talking about, where this side was, you know, quite a bit off, but it wasn't totally placed yet, so I was able to move it, because this ended up, it was about 3 inches this way. So I was able to move it in. That corner down there I already had completely built, and it was off by about 1 inch, I think. So that's what translated to this 1/2 inch. Actually, it's less than 1/2 inch over here, but technically I should have a 1/2 inch overhang. So I guess it's closer to maybe 3/4 of an inch. So yeah, but I'm not really going to see this corner very often, and unless you had it pointed out, which I just did to everybody. But anyway, the deck is done. So I think that's going to wrap up this video, guys. This is part 5. I think it's part 5. Yeah, part 5 of the Lanai deck build. I will have one more episode of this series. I still need to, as you can see, put the horizontal beams in on that side, and then of course this side. I need to put the vertical. So I have a vertical that I built. I already have it cut and it's painted. We'll go up in the middle here, and then there will be a ridge beam that goes eventually across that. Temporarily, I'm going to just put a 20-foot 2x6 on there, and then I'm going to put a tarp over this whole thing, so that I have a temporary roof. And then we will install some gutters. This little temporary roof sticking out will get removed. That was just to keep rain off the old porch. And then it will sit like that for some time until we get ready to start building the second story on our house, which could be a year from now. I don't know when that'll even be. But then that's pretty much it. I mean, deck turned out awesome. This is a lot more living space. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Aloha.